Hello everyone! Welcome back to D20 Sundays. If you're watching this video, you should come by DragonCon in Atlanta for the 2018 DragonCon convention and say hello to me. I'll be there Sunday. This Sunday, today, that you're watching this video. I am there. If you're in the Atlanta area, come see me. I'll be wandering around with a couple of friends dressed as a Jedi. They might be just... I don't think so. Maybe. Possibly. I don't know. Anyways, on to this video. This video is about the Pathfinder campaign that I was in with a bunch of my coworker friends, and kind of about the adventure that we had. We were playing in the Rise of the Rune Lords campaign, and it was pretty fun. We never finished the campaign due to reasons. There was a schism in the group, a very major one, and a life change for the Dungeon Master, and it just kind of like all compiled into one big thing. So it kind of ended with us, like, reaching a major milestone and be like, hey, see you in 2 weeks for the next session. And they were like, yeah. And then, well, that didn't work. So yeah, when all that happened, though, it was a surprise to most of us. Apparently one other person knew, but they weren't sure. And then when it did happen, they were like, oh, well, I guess I should have said something. But either way, it is what it is. Nothing we can change about that. But that Pathfinder campaign itself, the Rise of the Rune Lords campaign, spoiler warning, just in case I talk about a spoiler for that campaign and you've not played it and you want to play it. But we were a bunch of weirdos. We were a bunch of oddballs. And I mean that in the sense that we would do things in sometimes the dumbest way possible. So, of the group, it was myself playing Orc the Scout, sometimes known as Orc the Thief, depending on who you asked, but I mostly introduced myself as Orc the Scout. It's like, and for my Dungeon Master, if you're watching this, which I highly doubt you are, but because you always ask for me to do it, Orc the Scout, at your service. I did that a few times to introduce myself in character, but also to other people who kind of just sat there and watched us play. They were, we just happened to have game night on the same night that, Dungeon Master had company, and the company was like, oh, wait, you play? And, we want to, watch the campaign. So we went around and introduced our characters, and, I would always introduce myself as Orc the Scout, at your service. But yeah, so those were fun times. So it was myself playing my titular rogue, Orc, Tau, the human monk of the Untwisting Iron, Aleph, the elven wizard of just grumpiness, aka the Dragon Slayer, Finn, the human cleric, who just wanted to get out of the clergy and kind of just see the world, Periwinkle Finkle, or it might be Finklebottom Periwinkle, I can never remember correctly, but he was a Nome Gunslinger with a pink beard and mustache, but purple, wide purple-brimmed hat with a pink feather, and purple poncho, and, the rest of the clothes, and he described his character looking like a pimp. And he kind of was. He was kind of pimping. But, Nome Gunslinger, we called him our mascot every now and then when he'd blow someone's brains out, it's like, yeah, if the mascot can do that, imagine what the rest of us can do. And then, I'm sorry, I'm remembering what he did with another character, which I'll get to in a moment. After Finklebottom, it was Alika, the gypsy, who was a magus, but she dressed as a gypsy and everything. And the last one is Jacobi, the Shaunti barbarian. 7-foot-something female barbarian with tattoos, bald, wielded a, Earthbreaker, which is essentially a two-handed warhammer with spikes on it. And, she messed things up. But one of the, best things that we saw was essentially Jacobi would often put Finklebottom into her backpack because, we were going up steps that were just way too big for Finklebottom. Like, these steps are made for giants. And it's like, well, Finklebottom, you're going to have to do, like, acrobatics and, climbing checks just to get up one step. And he's like, shut up! So, he'd often be like in her backpack with his musket and just be kind of like a turret, just boom. He eventually got the gun enchanted to where he no longer had to reload it. And it was just like, that's what he needed. Just constantly, boom, boom. That's right, he eventually made a gun called the Finkle Bottom Special, which was a 7-chambered repeating rifle. And he ruined people's days with that gun. Even Cute Steve, which is another joke. There was a guy, we couldn't really remember his name. We just called him Cute Steve. And so from then on, he was just called Cute Steve. And that's another thing. We were bad at names as a group. We were bad at remembering important NPC names. We were bad about remembering, semi-important NPC names or villain names or so on. Like there was one, I think it was called a Quasit in one scene. So, he showed the picture of what a Quasit looks like, and one says, oh, it's Boobs Mackenzie. And so we never called it a Quasit again, or whatever its name was. We just called it Boobs Mackenzie every time we saw it. It's like, oh no, Boobs Mackenzie has returned for revenge. We did that for a number of things. Cute Steve was like some sort of, I want to say, a traitor at some point, and we couldn't remember his name. It's just, he was described as a very dashing young man. So it's like, Cute Steve, that's who it is. Also, most, if not all of our recaps were done by one person. That one person being Aleph, the wizard. Every session, at the beginning of every session, he would recap the previous session. And he did it off the cuff. And he did it in such a fashion to where it was over the top, overdone, or not overdone, it was over the top and just fanatical, because he would just go on this huge rant of like what happened the last session, and then he would end it was like, and that's what happened. And it was amazing every time. And if I recall correctly, he's the one who started the Cute Steve, as well as a number of others. It was like, and then we saw this beautiful lady inside the fortress, and she was like, oh my, have you come to save me? And we were like, yeah, we're here to save everyone. She's like, oh, well, I guess you don't mind if I get more comfortable. And then she turned into a disgusting snake woman and tried to eat me. That's Olive. If you want to know who Olive is, look up the name Skinner McLean. You might get at Frozen Zaid on Twitter. That's him. He's no longer on Twitter. At least I don't think he is. I don't think I've seen anything posted by him in a long time. He's a coworker of mine. He's pretty awesome, and that is him all the time. He is one big, nervous, anxious wreck, but he is amazing and a good writer. And he's also a good actor. He did a lot of theater. But Skinner McLean, as Olive, was hilarious purely because he would do stuff like that at the beginning of every session. He'd recap what happened last time. And because he was a forgetful person, he'd forget names and stuff. He'd just, give them a new name, and we were just like, yep, that name sticks. But yeah, we were a very odd group of individuals, But the reason why we had Jacobi come in, because she came in later on. She was played by a very sweet older woman who was very soft-spoken, very mature, very intelligent, and wise. But Miss Marcy, while she was that, Jacobi was this loud, arrogant, brash, shouty woman who did not like men, did not like people in general, did not like magic or writing. And she came in because we had a problem called the committee. Our problem was ourselves. The committee was us arguing or debating as to how we should do something, or overthinking how should we do something. So we were like, oh, we're going to go, do this. We're going to, argue. It's like, oh, we have to get into this place. Well, I think we should go in this way. Well, I think we should do this instead. I think we should do this instead. Where's Jacobi going? Well, she went around back, broke down the back door, yelled inside that they've got guests waiting for them at the front door, and then walked all the way back to the front door for the people to unlock the door so that way we could go in. That's what Jacobi does. That's what Jacobi did, and she did it well. She was arrogant, brash, and impatient. If she felt like we were taking too long, then she's going to get bored and make her own decision and go do it. And that often led us into trouble, but it was worth it. There was one time, though, it was kind of like my session to shine, we encountered a very heavily trap-ridden area, and I had to, like, go forward and, undo all the traps. And she decided she's going to, like, barge up to the front door because I wanted to, scope out the area a little bit more to make sure, no one's watching us while we're doing this. And she was like, I just barge up to the front door and start banging on it. And it's like, oh, well, when you step on the front door, or when you step up to the front door, you feel your foot shift as there's fake boards that give way, and 2 blades come swinging out at you. She ended up taking like 30 points of damage, and she was like, stumbling back off the steps and falls on the ground and everything. We run over, and my character just like leans over her and goes, "Did you learn anything?" And she grabbed me and said, "I learned nothing," and threw me off. I was like, alright, everyone stand back. I got this. But, that's what, Jacobi was. She was, strong, powerful, challenging woman that did not learn from her actions. She, impatient, arrogant, brash, will just go do whatever. But I feel like every group kind of needs that person. Because, honestly, if you get into the committee like we did, you're going to be stuck there overthinking things for a good 30 minutes. Arguing. I was like, oh, we should do it this way, or, we should do it this way, or so on. Because you can't come to a decision, and sometimes the decision is just staring you right in the face, and you're just not taking it because you're thinking, oh no, that's way too simple. That can't be it. So Jacobi was the fixer of that problem. And there was a number of like great times where it came back to bite her. Other times it was just this amazing, I can't believe that actually worked moment. But we each had like our own moments to shine throughout the entire campaign, where the spotlight was on us. We never finished the campaign because, things happened. Things beyond our control. But, it happens. But, Finn. Finn was hilarious, too. Finn, the human cleric. Because, man, he would say things that a cleric should not say. Because, and he says, like, the next time we play, can someone else please play the cleric? Because my mind does not allow me to be a cleric. Because there's one time we saw, and, the Dungeon Master described it as a portly family coming the other way on this road. We're going this way, they're coming this way. And, we crossed their paths and everything. So Finn goes, well, I guess we know which way the famine is coming from. I start cracking up right next to him and everything. And he's like, I'm sorry, guys. I don't actually say that out loud. That's not what a cleric would say. I'm just like, no, do it. It's hilarious. Tao got thrown down a flight of stairs. He decided he's going to go grapple a hill giant. Grapple one of 3 hill giants. Failed his strength check and got chucked down a giant flight of stairs. And I do mean giant. These steps were made for giants. So, each step is like this freaking tall or something. So he got thrown down that. Olive nearly died a number of times purely because of jumping and climbing. It's the only time he ever came close to dying, was jumping and climbing. So from then on, like, once he got the fly spell, he's like, nope, I'm not dealing with this fly. I'm just going to levitate over. It's like, you're wasting. He's like, I don't care. I'm not doing it. It's like, okay, whatever. But he was known as Olive the Dragon Slayer because we went up against a young red dragon and he soloed it. Like, one of us Finn got like an inflict major wounds or inflict medium wounds off on it, but he rolled kind of low. So, but for the most part, it was all Olive. Like, he flew up to the red dragon, casted I want to say a 3rd or 4th level freezing spell on it. it dropped it from the sky because he just wounded it so badly. And then he flew down to it again after, because all the rest of us were, like, spread out throughout the town. And we saw the dragon. It's like, oh, crap. So we, started gathering to get to the dragon. And by the time the rest of us got there, all we could do was get into position to, for the next round of fighting, to have flanking bonus and everything. Finn used his inflict medium wounds, and then Olaf was like, oh, screw this, and he just uses another 4th level spell and just destroyed the dragon pretty much on his own. I was like, well, crap. Because it was a red dragon, it was weak to cold damage, and Olaf was very good at getting through spell resistance. So yeah, he just pretty much used its weakness and just doubled up and just killed it. And I was like, okay, well, dragon's down. That was a very short fight. He lasted 2 rounds. And, after that we, like, cleaned up everything else that was attacking the town. Finkelbottom never let people escape. That was his shining thing. He never let enemies escape. Whenever he saw them starting to run, he'd start shooting at them. And because he was a gunslinger using a musket, he'd aim for the legs. It's like, I'm going to kneecap this fool. Oh, look, I rolled a 15 on the die to hit. Plus my modifiers, that's a 20. Yeah. Pathfinder guns go off of touch AC, which is kind of broken. Especially if you're a gunslinger. Because it's like, oh, I've got a revolver because my DM was nice. That means I got 6 shots. I get 2 attacks per round. Or I get 3 attacks per round. And it goes off touch AC? Well, howdy do. Yeah, when he got the Finkelbottom special, he became even more broken. It's like 7-shot. It's a 7-shot repeating rifle. Where he just pretty much boom, boom, boom. And he destroyed, like, anyone he hit. And I remember he hit a boss with a nat 20, so he just blew his brains out. How do you like me now? He's a gnome. But yeah, throughout the whole campaign, we had our own moments of shine, our own moments of hilarity. And I really like the fact that the DM put that into the campaign and everything. I really missed playing with that group, because they were so much fun. Well, they weren't my original Pathfinder group with, Steve and, not Cute Steve, but Steve, Phantasmio, and all of them. This group with my coworkers was definitely amazing to me, and it was well worth everything. But, campaigns fall apart sometimes. It sucks, but it happens. I only hope the Surskin campaign, lasts longer and, goes for a much more fun time. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Thank you for joining me. And once again, if you're going to be at Dragon Con 2018 in Atlanta, come see me. Anyways, laters.